Ever feel like you're just drowning in demands?
Oh, tell me about it.
Emails piling up, social media buzzing nonstop.
Ugh, it never ends.
Meeting invites for things that could have been a quick email.
Yeah.
It's like everyone wants a piece of you all the time. We're diving into the art of saying no today.
Ooh, good one.
It's your guide to reclaiming your time and sanity.
I like it, reclaiming your sanity.
Because as Seneca, wisely put it centuries ago, how many have laid waste to your life when you weren't aware of what you were losing?
Heavy stuff, right?
Heavy stuff. Seneca really nails it, though.
Yeah.
We often sleepwalk through life, giving away our most precious resource, time, without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And this source really dives into the culprits, these thieves of time, as it calls them.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's not just the obvious stuff.
Yeah, I was surprised by the categories. It's not just the external things screaming for attention.
No, not at all.
Is it? We think we're so busy because of work deadlines, endless emails,
Right.
social obligations.
Yeah, all of that.
Those are definitely factors.
Yeah.
Imagine that feeling of dread, right?
Yeah.
When you see your inbox count
I don't even want to look.
or your phone is just blowing up with notifications.
It's overwhelming.
It's totally draining.
Yeah.
But the source also points to what it calls internal distractions.
Okay.
And these are, well, they're sneaky.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm the queen of should have done spirals. I'm getting lost in pointless internet rabbit holes.
Yeah.
It's self-sabotage.
Exactly. We get caught in these mental loops,
Yeah.
past regrets, future worries, unproductive anger that just eats us up inside.
Just a vicious cycle.
Then there's the mindless entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
Binge watching shows that leave us feeling empty,
Yeah.
It's all time we could be spending on things that actually matter.
Absolutely. So we're getting hit from both sides. External pressures and our own brains working against us.
It's a double whammy.
No wonder we're all so exhausted. Which brings us to the core of this deep dive.
Okay, yeah.
The power of no.
The power of no, I like it.
It sounds so simple.
Right.
But why is saying no such a struggle?
Well, this source argues it's the key to everything.
Really? Everything.
Quality work, strong relationships,
Okay.
even personal growth.
I see that.
It's not just about avoiding annoying things.
Yeah.
It's about making space for what you truly value.
I'm seeing that already, but if it's so beneficial,
Right.
why is saying no so hard?
Yeah.
Is it just societal pressure, or is there something deeper going on?
Well, the source breaks down 5 key reasons why mastering no is essential.
Okay.
And it really reframes the whole concept.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. Every time you say yes to something, you're implicitly saying no to something else. It's a constant trade-off.
Never thought of it that way. So it's not just about avoiding things, it's about choosing what deserves our yes.
Exactly.
I like that.
And the source reminds us, time is the ultimate non-renewable resource.
That's true.
You can't make more of it, right?
Nope.
So we need to spend it like it matters, not just fritter it away on things that don't align with our goals.
Okay, that's hitting home.
Right.
I'm definitely guilty of wasting time on things that don't really matter to me in the long run.
It happens to the best of us.
But I'm curious, how does saying no connect to things like,
Okay.
quality work
Yeah.
and personal growth?
Well, think about the last time you were truly engrossed in a project, right? Could you do your best work with constant interruptions?
Yeah, way.
Probably not.
No.
This source argues that focused attention is the key to producing anything meaningful.
Okay.
And that means creating boundaries
Yeah.
to protect your time and energy.
That resonates with me.
Right.
I know that when I'm in the writing zone
Yeah.
and a notification pops up, the worst.
It completely throws me off.
Yeah.
It's like my brain has to reboot every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And personal growth requires similar dedicated space, right?
Okay, yeah.
If we're constantly rushing from one thing to the next, how can we possibly step back and reflect and figure out what we truly want?
It's like we're living on autopilot, just going through the
Yeah.
motions without ever really pausing to ask ourselves, why am I doing this?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah,
And this constant busyness takes a toll on our relationships too.
it does.
The source emphasizes that genuine connection requires presence,
Okay,
not just divided attention.
right.
When we're constantly multitasking and checking our phones, we're not truly present with the people we care about.
Ouch, that's a bit convicting.
It's tough to hear, but it's true.
I definitely need to work on being more present in my relationships.
Yeah, me too.
But so far, we've focused on all the good things that can happen when we learn to say no.
Right.
What about the flip side?
What are the consequences of constantly saying yes?
Well, the source doesn't sugarcoat it.
Oh, no.
It paints a pretty bleak picture of what happens when we don't prioritize.
Oh, okay, what do you mean?
Burnout from overcommitment is a big one.
Yeah.
You're so exhausted and stressed that you can't function effectively.
Ugh. I know that feeling all too well. You end up just going through the motions and nothing gets your full attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this leads to what the source calls shallow work, right?
Okay.
You're constantly reacting to urgent demands instead of focusing on deep, meaningful contributions.
Yeah.
It also highlights the impact on relationships.
Oh, okay.
When you're constantly distracted and unavailable,
Yeah.
it erodes connection and trust.
Yikes. That's not what I want.
Right.
I value my relationships too much to let that happen.
We all do.
And then there's the opportunity cost, right?
Totally.
If you're always saying yes to things you don't really care about,
Yeah.
you miss out on pursuing your passions and growing as a person.
That's exactly.
The source uses this powerful phrase, dying before our time.
Ooh, that's a good one.
We fill our lives with so much fluff that we never get to the truly meaningful stuff.
That's powerful.
Wow, that's a sobering thought.
It is?
So we know that saying no is important, but how do we actually do it? It's easy to talk about setting boundaries, but in the moment,
Right.
it can be so hard to actually say no
Yeah,
without feeling guilty or hurting someone's feelings.
I hear you.
Any advice on that?
That's where the how-to of this source comes in.
Okay.
It offers some really practical strategies for saying no gracefully and effectively
Okay. I like that.
without burning bridges or turning into a hermit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking. Let's dive into those strategies.
The first strategy the source offers is deceptively simple.
Okay.
It's called the power pause.
The power pause.
But we're so conditioned to respond immediately these days,
Right.
especially, in our hyper-connected world.
It's true.
But before you say yes or no to any request, institute a mandatory 24-hour waiting period.
Okay, I can already see how that would be helpful. It takes the pressure off that, immediate response.
Exactly.
But does it really make that much of a difference?
It's more powerful than you might think.
Really?
That pause gives you time to step back, actually think about the request
Yeah.
and avoid those knee-jerk reactions we often regret later.
Oh, for sure.
Especially helpful when you, feel put on the spot.
Oh, you're telling me I can't count how many times I've agreed to something in the moment,
Right.
only to realize later I'm totally overcommitted.
It happens.
So we take a pause, we breathe, then what? How do we actually decide whether to say yes or no?
That's where the priority filter comes
Oh,
in.
I already filtered.
The second strategy from the source.
Got it.
It's not just about saying no to everything.
Right.
It's about aligning your commitments with what truly matters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The source gives 4 crucial questions to ask yourself.
Okay, lay them on me.
Okay, so first, does this align with my core values?
Okay.
Second, will this matter in 1 year?
Ooh, I like that one already.
Third, is this the best use of my time right now?
Okay.
And finally, what am I giving up by saying yes to this?
Ooh, I like that last one. It really makes you consider the opportunity cost.
Exactly.
But those first 2 questions, they really jump out at me.
Yeah.
Does this align with my core values? Will this matter in 1 year?
Powerful. Right.
Those feel like game changers.
They're all about intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
If something doesn't resonate with your core values, it's probably not worth your time and energy,
Okay.
no matter how tempting it might seem in the moment.
Right.
And that second question, brilliant for cutting through the noise.
Yeah.
If it's not going to matter in a year, is it really that important?
That's such a simple but profound question. It really puts things into perspective. So we've taken a pause. We've filtered the request through our priorities.
Yeah.
Now comes the hard part,
Right.
actually saying no.
The dreaded no.
Any tips on how to do that without, turning into the office pariah?
Well, this is where the graceful decline comes in.
The graceful decline. Okay.
It's the source's third strategy.
Got it.
It's about finding that balance,
Mm-hmm.
between being honest and kind.
Yeah.
You don't need to over-explain,
Okay.
but be clear and upfront about why you're declining.
Okay, but what if you genuinely don't have a good reason?
Oh, yeah.
What if you just don't want to do it?
That's totally valid.
Is it?
The source emphasizes that you have the right to say no without feeling guilty or obligated to give a detailed explanation.
Okay, good.
You can simply say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm not able to commit to that right now.
I love that.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah, it's empowering to remember that we don't have to justify every decision. But what about those situations where, you want to be helpful, even if you can't say yes to the specific request?
The source addresses that too.
Does it? Okay.
It suggests offering alternative solutions whenever possible.
Okay. Like what?
Maybe you can recommend someone else who would be a good fit.
Right.
Or offer to help in a different way at a later time.
That's a great point. It shows that you're still engaged and willing to contribute.
Right.
Even if you can't commit to the original ask.
Exactly.
Okay, this is all making sense so far. We pause.
Yep.
We filter, we decline gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one more strategy, right?
Yes.
What was that time audit thing?
The time audit is all about awareness.
Okay.
The source challenges you to track your time for a week.
A whole week.
Literally write down everything you do and how long you spend on it.
That sounds tedious.
It might sound tedious,
yeah.
but it can be incredibly eye-opening.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm pretty sure I'd be shocked by how much time I actually waste on things that don't really matter.
It happens.
But what's the point of tracking all that? What do we do with that information?
Think of it as a reality check.
Okay.
Once you see where your time is actually going, you can identify those sneaky time wasters, right? Those activities that don't align with your goals.
Right.
Or they could be done more efficiently.
Okay. So it's about identifying those low-value tasks.
Exactly.
So we can start eliminating them or delegating them.
Yep.
Freeing up time for the things that really matter.
You got it.
I like it. And the beauty of it is that even small tweaks can make a big difference over time.
Right.
The source really hammers home the power of small, consistent actions, the compound effect.
Okay.
Even reclaiming just 30 minutes a day can add up to significant gains in the long run.
So we're saying no to all these time wasters.
But what are we saying yes to? What's the point of clearing our schedules if we don't have something meaningful to fill that space?
That's where the yes list comes in.
The yes list.
While we're learning to say no, we also need to be crystal clear about what deserves our yes.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
This is the fun part, right?
The fun part. Okay, yeah.
You get to consciously design the life you want.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some things that should be on our yes list? Give us some examples.
The source breaks it down into a few key areas.
Okay.
Values, relationships, work, and personal growth.
Okay, those make sense.
Think about your core values. What are the guiding principles that shape your life?
Yeah.
Your yes list should reflect those values.
So it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Our actions should match our beliefs.
Exactly. And when it comes to relationships, your yes list should include those people who bring you joy, support, and inspiration.
Okay.
The ones who challenge you to grow and make you feel seen and understood.
I love that. I think a lot of us could benefit from taking a hard look at our relationships and being more intentional about who we choose to spend our time with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And your work should be on your yes list too, but not just any work.
Right.
This is about seeking out tasks and projects that leverage your strengths,
Yeah.
challenge you creatively,
Okay.
and align with your long-term goals.
So it's not just about saying yes to every opportunity that comes along.
Right.
It's about being selective and choosing work that's truly fulfilling and meaningful.
Precisely.
Okay, got it.
And finally, your yes list should include activities that feed your soul.
Okay.
Those things that contribute to your personal growth and expansion.
Okay, what kind of things?
It could be anything from reading thought-provoking books,
Right.
learning a new skill,
Yeah.
traveling to new places, experiencing different cultures.
This is starting to sound less like a to-do list and more like a blueprint for a truly awesome life.
Exactly.
But let's be real. Yeah. We're all busy people.
We are.
How do we actually make time for all this amazing stuff when we're already feeling stretched thin?
That's where the power of no comes full circle.
Full circle.
Every time you decline something that's not on your yes list, you're freeing up time and energy for the things that truly light you up.
It's a trade-off, but a worthy one.
Totally.
It's like we're consciously choosing to prioritize what's important.
Yeah.
Even if it means saying no to things that might seem tempting or obligatory in the moment.
Exactly.
But doesn't that create this, impossible standard? I mean, we can't say yes to everything on our yes list all the time.
Of course not.
Right.
It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional.
Okay.
There will always be compromises and tough choices.
Yeah.
The point is to be aware of your priorities and to make decisions that are aligned with your values and your long-term vision.
This is all so insightful.
Good.
But I have a confession. Sometimes, even when I know something isn't a priority,
Yeah.
I still feel guilty saying no.
Oh, yeah.
Any advice on overcoming that guilt?
That guilt is so common,
Is it?
but it's often misplaced.
Okay.
Remember, you're not obligated to say yes to everything,
Right.
and you're not responsible for everyone else's happiness.
Okay.
This source had a brilliant quote from Warren Buffett
Warren Buffett.
that really stuck with me.
What's the quote?
He said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything."
Wow, that's pretty radical. But I see what he's saying. It takes a lot of discipline
It does.
to stay focused on your goals and not get sidetracked by every shiny object that comes along.
It's about protecting your time and energy so you can pour yourself into the things that truly matter.
I like that.
But don't get overwhelmed.
Okay, good.
Start small.
Okay, small steps.
Even saying no to just one unnecessary commitment a week can make a huge difference over time.
I love that it's about taking small steps and building momentum.
Okay.
This whole deep dive has been so empowering.
Good. I'm glad.
I can't wait to put these strategies into practice.
Me too.
Before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, any final words of wisdom from the source? Anything we should be thinking about as we, put all of this into practice?
One thing that really stood out to me was the emphasis on self-compassion.
Self-compassionate, okay.
This isn't about beating yourself up if you slip up
Yeah,
or say yes to something you later regret.
right.
It's about learning from those experiences and making adjustments as you go.
That's such an important reminder.
It is.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
We're all going to make mistakes along the way, but the key is to keep learning and growing and striving to create a life that's truly aligned with our values and our aspirations.
Beautifully said.
Well, on that note, let's shift gears and dive into the final part of this deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore some more concrete strategies for putting all of this into action and creating a life that's filled with more yeses and fewer regrets.
I like it.
All right, we're back.
Back for more.
Ready to wrap up our deep dive into the art of saying no.
The grand finale.
We've covered the why,
Right. The what.
reclaiming our time, focusing on what truly matters,
The what too.
and the what,
Creating that yes list
creating that exciting yes list.
with our values and dreams.
aligned with our values and dreams.
All that good stuff.
Now for the grand finale, the how do we actually make this work in the chaos of everyday life?
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
Knowing the theory is one thing,
Yeah,
but putting it into practice is a whole other challenge.
it is.
This source doesn't just leave us hanging with lofty ideas.
Yeah.
It gets down to brass tacks
Okay.
with practical tips.
That's what I love about this deep dive.
Good.
It's actionable advice, not just motivational fluff.
Right? Right.
So what are some specific strategies we can start using today to become masters of no?
Well, we talked about the power pause,
Right.
that 24-hour window
Yes.
before committing to anything.
Yeah.
That's step one.
Okay.
It creates breathing room so you can apply the priority filter, those 4 questions that help you evaluate requests against your values and goals.
I remember those.
But even then,
Yeah.
actually saying no can feel awkward.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I can get stuck in my head,
Yeah.
overthinking every possible scenario
Yeah.
and how the other person might react.
It's so easy to do.
It's like analysis paralysis.
Totally. That's where the source's scripts for graceful decline are so helpful.
Oh, the scripts, right.
It suggests simple phrases like,
Yeah, give us an example.
"Thank you so much for thinking of me, but unfortunately, I can't commit to that right now."
Straightforward,
Direct.
polite, no need to over-explain.
Nope. You're assertive without being harsh.
It is. But what if you do need to give a bit more context?
Okay, yeah.
Without getting into a whole long story.
The source has some good options there, too.
Okay, good.
You can try something like,
Yeah.
"I really appreciate the offer, but I'm focusing on your priority right now, and I want to give it my full attention."
So you're being honest
Right.
without apologizing or making excuses.
Exactly.
That's a subtle but important distinction.
Yes.
It's about owning your choices, not feeling like you have to justify them.
That's it.
But sometimes I genuinely want to help,
Yes.
even if I can't commit to the specific request.
Sure.
Any tips for navigating that?
The source is all about finding that win-win.
The win-win. I like that.
It suggests offering alternatives whenever possible.
Okay.
Maybe you can suggest someone else who'd be a great fit for the task.
Right. Delegate.
Or offer to help in a different way at a later time.
So it shows you're not just dismissing the request outright.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that.
Keeps the door open.
It keeps the door open, reinforces the relationship.
Right.
But let's be real.
Yeah.
There are times when a flat-out no is the only way to go.
Sometimes, yeah.
How do we get comfortable with that?
This is where it gets interesting.
Oh, okay.
The source talks about shifting our mindset from avoiding being a jerk to protecting our precious resources.
Okay.
Your time, your energy, your mental bandwidth.
That's true.
These are valuable, and you have the right to safeguard them.
That's a powerful reframing.
It is.
It's not selfish to prioritize our well-being. It's essential.
Absolutely.
But even with all these strategies, there's still that nagging feeling of being overwhelmed by demands.
Oh, yeah.
Any advice on how to, proactively reduce that pressure?
Absolutely. The source goes beyond individual requests and looks at the bigger picture of how we manage our time and energy.
Okay.
It recommends establishing routines and automating as much as possible.
Automating, okay.
Imagine having dedicated times for checking email and social media
Right.
instead of being at their mercy all day long.
That would be a game changer. I feel like I'm constantly switching gears and never fully focusing on anything.
The source emphasizes that minimizing those micro decisions frees up mental bandwidth
Okay.
for the things that really matter.
I like that.
Automating tasks like bill paying, grocery shopping,
Right.
even meal prep.
It all adds up.
It all adds up.
It's like reclaiming control over our own lives
Exactly.
instead of feeling like we're at the mercy of our inboxes and to-do lists.
Our inboxes rule our lives.
I'm already feeling a sense of relief just thinking about it. This whole deep dive has been so empowering, and I can't wait to put these strategies into practice.
I'm right there with you.
Me too.
This source is a true gem,
It is.
packed with actionable advice.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
it's a journey, not a race.
We've said that before.
Start with one small change, be kind to yourself along the way, and celebrate those victories,
I like that.
big or small.
Beautifully said. As we wrap up our deep dive into the art of saying no, I want to leave our listener with a challenge.
Okay, good.
Think about one thing you'll say no to this week,
Mm.
something that's been draining your time or energy,
Yeah.
and use that space to do something from your yes list. What will it be?
That's the perfect way to put this knowledge into action.
It is.
Remember, even the smallest no can open the door to incredible possibilities.
Absolutely. It's about making conscious choices, designing a life that reflects your values, and embracing the freedom that comes from saying yes to what truly matters.
Well said.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep living intentionally.